Hey, welcome back to the series. In the previous episode, we have seen how to install pgadmin and PostgreSQL on our local machines, and also how to install Node.js. In this episode, I think it's time for us to get started and implement MEM stack, both front-end and back-end. So in this episode, we are going to get into that implementation part, where we are using Vite CLI to build the UI interfaces, and also we are using Nodejs and ExpressJS to build the RESTful API. And let's get started. The first thing that we can do is to make a folder. Since we are building Vue.js and Node.js as a backend, so I'm going to name the folder like this. Once the folder is completed, we can import this folder into VSCode. So we can open console and let's make another two folders. One is for UI and another is for API. So we are maintaining two folders since we are using Node.js to install Node modules for both frontend and backend. It's easier that way to maintain. So let's open API. Let's change the directory to API, and let's do npm init so that it creates package.json. It will ask you a bunch of questions. We can just answer those questions. So it will ask you about version, description, and what is the package name, and the keywords, the Git repository. Let's answer all these questions. Once you hit yes, it actually creates package.json for you. So let's go to API folder and open that package.json, where you can actually see all the answers you have just given. So we have created package.json. Let's create a sample file, which is index.js, and test our Node.js project. So I'm going to write simple print and also simple function to test the Node.js project. So we can put anything in the console log statement. So I just put example API. You can put anything, and also let's write some function. So instead of just writing console log, I'm going to add one function which is an addition, where it takes two parameters and return the sum of those parameters. So we can run in two ways. You can actually do node index.js. It executes the file, and you can see that print statement and also the addition as well. So another way is to add this script in npm scripts section of package.json. So we have a command, start command. So we can add this script to the start command of that for this project. And if you go back to console and do npm start, it in turn runs that node index.js, and that executes the actual code in that file. So there are two ways to run. One, you can directly run it, or you can just add that to npm scripts, and with npm scripts you can actually run it. You don't have to remember the whole line. Here it's very simple, but sometimes you have to give a lot of flags. So now we are done with API. Let's go to UI folder. Let's get into UI folder. So we are using Vite CLI, which is the new new tool for the VueJS applications. First we need to copy this command, and first we need to install Vite CLI globally and then create a project from that particular tool. So I install the create view, and it is asking, basically it asks you a bunch of questions, which version and the project name and all the other stuff. Let's give the project name is UI, since we are maintaining a folder called UI for the front end. So let's give the project name as UI. And then it asks whether we need JavaScript or TypeScript support. For now, let's put JavaScript. And then router, yes or no, it's up to you. So the state management tool, yes. And any end-to-end tests, yes or no, it's up to you. So once you hit enter, it will create the whole skeleton for you. Let's look at the project that CLI created. So under source, you have all the application source code, and we can have package.json, index.html, lot of other stuff. Let's open app.vue, where you can actually see the HTML code, the template. VSCode has some extensions where you can install. And let's go to package.json and see the npm start command or dev command. So we have a npm dev. So all we need to do is npm run dev, so that it starts that Vue application in development mode. Oh, it seems that Vite is not found. I think we just need to install that globally, or we can just close this console if it doesn't recognize us. Let's see the global command. Yep, here is the actual command. Let's copy. Oh, I think I forgot. So it's not about the tool. I think we have to install the libraries. I thought when it creates the skeleton, it already installs all the node modules. For this Vue application, it's a new thing to me as well. So we have to install all the package dependencies. That's why it is complaining. So now we installed package dependencies. All we need to do is npm run dev right now. Now it works. Yep, it is working, and the application is running on 5173. Let's hit that in the browser. Yep, the application is running. You can actually see the whole project running on that particular port. And you can go through all the skeleton that CLI created for you. And now let's get back to the API again. So we have only tested just few print console statements on one function. So let's set up the Express server. So go to index.js and let's remove all the code here and go to the Express documentation, where the first thing we need to do is install the Express. So let's copy the first 3 lines. So the first thing we need to do is import the Express and assign that Express to the variable. once you assign that express to that variable, you can just define the functions app.get. The get function will take path as a first parameter and the function callback function as a second parameter, and the request and response objects are the parameters to that particular function where you can actually receive the request from HTTP request, and with response.send you can actually send the response to that particular request. And also we have to put the listen, we have to define a listen method where it actually creates HTTP server on that particular port. So we are using port 3000 here. With app.listen method, we are actually creating HTTP server and on that particular port. So once that is completed, let's run this file. So we already defined start command in the npm scripts. You can just run it like npm start. So once you run npm start, once you do node index.js, it runs the express server on port 3080. So you can see the console statement where it says express API is running on port 3080. So let's go to the browser and hit that particular port, and you can see the message as well. So that way we can maintain two folders for both for frontend and backend respectively. In that way it will be easier and it's easier for you to develop and maintain the whole application. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.